I'm expecting them to bring out more of that deadlock purely because we saw them struggle, them being MIBR against Gen G against the deadlock.
Hold on a minute.
But as you say
I don't
that,
know ball. I don't know ball. I don't know ball.
Could this be real? Nats on the Viper after we just saw MIBR struggle against that same agent just against Gen G.
Mel, I know you're a big believer in the Viper on some maps, and especially on Sunset. Can you walk us through what you like about this pick on the map?
Yeah, I love how it disrupts B main control, especially when you're on the defense. Everyone likes to try and abuse B on Sunset, right? If you get into that post plant, once you get the bomb down, the round is practically over. So Nat's probably going to be using that wall towards B or doing a cross wall map to apply pressure, and it feels like Nats is everywhere with that wall. So that's what I'm really looking towards when I see this hover. But I don't want to get too excited. I love Viper and I love Nats on it, so I'm just hoping this goes through.
Yeah, I think I would really like to see it. And you can see Nats there on stage as well.
Giving the speech, yeah.
Still keeping it going, getting his team ready and locked in for that one.
Do you reckon he was like, Kiko, that insta-lock was amazing? You did such a good job locking in the Omen.
I just love how confident you were locking in the agent right away. That is going to be the Nats Viper. This is going to be awesome to see everything Mel just said, but also on the attacking side, I think the lurks having Viper Orb as well can be very impactful, whether that's top mid to enable lurks or in a post plant, devastating.
Yeah, we have seen him play Viper here before, and it was amazing. MIBR, they have to bring it if they want to force a map 3. Take it away, Uber and Wyatt.
Just as you said, Yinsu, last chance for MIBR to show their quality here on the international stage. A lot of rookies, a lot of debuts internationally for this team, and so far they've not been able to put it together. A paltry 6 rounds on their map pick coming into this series, and their Sunset was anything but good against Gen G prior. So it's now or never.
And unfortunately for them, it's flashbacks to that map loss as Team Liquid are playing a very inspired comp by Gen G. The difference is being that Serial is on this Cypher, subbing in for Penny to run this comp with a Sentinel plus the double controller, so you can have Nats lurking on the Viper. We saw how impactful he was on Icebox on attack lurking. MIBR did not know how to deal with him whatsoever.
MIBR have won 0 pistol rounds here in Toronto. And for a team that wants to get their duelist rolling early, that is devastating.
They have gone back to the most vintage agents on this map. Gecko was just a staple for early Sunset, fight in elbow.
It's too early for them. The timing's off. They tried to throw a Paranoia and play off of it, but Team Liquid were a second early for them. Shenum and Hardesting just got overwhelmed.
Man losing another pistol. Oh, so brutal. They just don't enter these games with any level of momentum, but you have Verno alive. He has been the player for MIBR, the unlikely hero. A lot of damage onto Serial. But with just 3, how can they get back in? You have Cortesia on that late flank, but there's so much delay from this dark cover now going up. And MIBR, they have nothing to really get through it. Maybe a recon.
You're kidding me! Oh man, inside the poison orbit drops, and Nats is able to find just a stunning shot. Cortesia had no way to get on that wrap. And MIBR, it's one false step at the start of the round. They can't recover from it.
You said it, there was a mistiming with this early elbow fight. The relay ball coming out, Ardzin and caught out here in the open position known. And then even being blinded up, Camo just dives onto Shenum with a real opportunity to get the kill. But the movement is just really tough for him to track. That is exactly why you run the Neon against Billy, even though it was in a loss. Camo on that agent was really sick.
Okay, over to round 2. Team Liquid, just an exchange here in B main, and paint shells drawn out of Aspas. But they saw so little that they are already out of that site.
He does have a Sheriff, the Brazilian star. That is the only light upgrade into this round. Verno, fortunately caught on the exit. Of course, only had a classic in hand anyhow. So the site is all too free for Team Liquid.
Scanned up the site. DL can still play that old school approach here to Sunset, falling back to B main, smoking it off, spamming the site. They have left Kiko in there. Cortesia has to step up here in market. Now it's a question of timing. The rest of his team are on the way to Boba. And Cortesy is just trying to dot his I's here, see if there's anyone in a backstab position in mid, but MIBR, no business trying to challenge this, and they're very much aware of it.
Matt's just happy to go hunting with this Ghost. And similar to Icebox after the pistol round was won on attack from Team Liquid, they invest very heavily into this round 2. There they didn't have a Ghost at all, actually, which is pretty typical. Here they do, but even still, double Bulldog, double Vandal. They have a real shot at winning this bonus round with the level of weaponry they've got. MIBR desperately need to stop the bleeding at this point.
Now, MIBR were able to win against the TL bonus on Icebox and actually made that first half look pretty competitive. It was a 7-5. But again, they've always had to play from a deficit. They've played from behind in every single map they've played here in Toronto. And that is going to take its toll. The fatigue is going to start to creep in. Frustration, I'm sure. This is an old school look for this map.
Yeah, this is
on the Gecko.
Just the past. The old
Used to be like Gecko
dizzy
breach. Yeah, have
to get some info in main, but yes, this is the breach nerf going away to the Sova. That's very relevant. Look at this hit from Camo all the way through Link off the fast lane. Relay bolt to press forward, but Aspas shuts him down.
Odyssey, though, is dealt with. Aspas can't really help trade that kill. Patatech is in position, playing around this one way. Trapwire is also there, so MIB, I don't have anywhere to go now. They're going to be pinched in this part of the map. They've got to fall back to Halls, ideally. Kiko wants to take the fight to Aspas, and he had his back turned. 4-0 for Kiko. Again, dominance showing on Icebox. He has stepped up massively. And Aserial doesn't have to do a damn thing. Shenum is stuck here.
Team Liquid, they know it's definitely possible that a player is here. Shenum with the first.
Now it's a matter of numbers. Overwhelm that position ideally, but Shenum's able to TP away and still might look to take the fight. Cats Nation, do they have the answer? You'd better believe it. Verno and Cortesy are grouped up in Link now. One last crack at this. It's bonus round, too strong for them. Apparently Cortesy gets in though, through the cyber cage in the back of sight, gives it a tap. Verno decayed down, but healing up. Kiko steps out, wide swing from Human now. Nats has to clutch this away. Almost gets there, but it's a nonchalant King Verno that's able to get MIBR into the map.
Much like against Genji, Verno in the clutch. The hero of Brazil, an American Challengers player that made his debut in VCT this year.
Challengers players in this series, huh?
The most unlikely of unlikely heroes for MIBR, for Brazil, for the best team that they've got in the scene right now.
Funny, he kind of threw people off in some of his press appearances early in Americas. This is more nonchalance, like he didn't seem to care much. I think he was really misunderstood, and you see his more low-key approach to the game means that he can get onto these high-pressure situations and actually shine, whereas the rest of his team have struggled in that regard.
Since joining, the vibes were so fun and always just felt so great for MIBR throughout their entire America's run. It's just only in Toronto here that we're seeing them, a little bit more sad, I would say, with some of the results that they're having.
Bit more
pretty
sad.
Dejected, some would say.
Glum, even.
Maybe putting it lightly there, but happy to convert against that bonus round strat that Team Liquid brought out.
Costly, though. Look at the weapons at MIBR. Stinger, Bulldog mixed in with the Guardian. Shenum can't get value out of his weapon. Aspas is able to get away, and Camo took a pretty big hit in that exchange. The Dizzy going to create the space to get Aspas out properly.
Now being spotted out, Team Liquid still more than enough time to make a pivot. That dark cover to obscure anyone top mid who may have intentions of firing through, and now a noise cut as they go into market. Eventually they'll have to break this strip, give up the game. Low HP Camo, maybe he can make some space and can trade it off.
There it is, Cortesy, Azir and Patatech both go down. Nice little setup here. Unseen, Bulldog a little bit wayward. He's Verno in a clutch position again, and he delivers against a true veteran.
Oh, clutching against one of the all-time clutch gods in Nats back-to-back. Caught jumping up, wanted to get that molly down so he could run forward, try to recover the spike.
And honestly, that's set up by this early engagement. Camo had gone quite low. In fact, there are two players that died to a shock dart in this position, but Verno wants to fight instead of use that util. Fighting forward, Artazine also with a decent timing through mid. Good collapse here.
Let's go.
That has got to feel good. That has got to feel vindicating.
This was some great little trickle swings from Cortesy and Shenum in tandem. They're playing from market. Team Liquid on the bad buy. Hero rifle for Kiko, who's been arguably the sharpest shooter in this server. Perhaps inarguably, he was outrageous.
I mean, with Aspas minus 23 over 3 maps, it's hard to see that Kiko has much competition there. A warning shot for Artisan, and he'll have to get off the line as the relay bolts come in. This will allow TL to slowly scale up into halls, but Aspas has been brought over to A to bolster it.
Pivoting here, fast lane now, so Team Liquid can get out onto the site.
Camo wants to fight through this with a stinger.
Good. He could have seen the barrel, but it looked like he was so locked in on the dark cover.
Oh, that's awkward. Camo gets away with it. How? 3 players for MIBR here on Link, and they're going to go for it. Artisan the Herald gets on in there, but now Hunter's Fury comes straight through. Panatek trying to light them up as they get on in here. Serial going to be outdone by Courtesy and the Guardian. Artisan finally finds connection with that Outlaw. Natsus goes though too sharp. Kiko now gets that rifle in play. Then he gets value. Found 2, leaving Panatek on his own. But he can hear the yells from the stage here. With every round MIBR put together, their confidence starts to build.
Their economy is being kept very honest by Team Liquid, but they are winning the rounds. That's what matters most. They'll be happy to have gotten one of those ultimates out with Panatek committing the Hunter's Fury, all for naught. Done it again. Cortezia with that opening engagement. Serial late, biding his time, picked off. Scale in together nicely, trading things out with the man advantage that they have. Nice! Well done.
And you've got a lot to retake with, right? You've got Boombot. That ends up putting that pressure on Camo, forces him out. You've got the Dizzy from Artisan, a lot of retake potential, so MIBR make the right choice, get off the A side early.
Now look at the state of the ultimates for MIBR, as Team Liquid are in this with their next full buy. Showstopper, Hunter's Fury. Very dangerous.
Both exits from mid are trapped.
Great shock dart. That's going to allow Camo to maybe push up as that cover is getting cycled. Team Liquid, they do love to go for these deep wrap site executes using the Neon to get through, one of the other sides.
There's a timing. There's a timing from Verno here through Spawn. Spotted by Camo, who'll now get ahead of it into Boba.
Oh, I love this from MIBR trying to get control of B-Main. This has to be a trade from Aspas, and he connects with the rocket.
Now we can double back. There's action over at B. Camo is in that site. Nat's also causing problems towards the top of mid, but Verno again! He's the kryptonite of the champion of old. Drop down to 4 by that spray. Hunter's Fury, though, has been developed.
And it's going to be read by Verno as the spike gets tapped. Team Liquid wanted to bait this out. You still have Aspas in B main. Oh, that connection was close. Aspas is a little bit weak, and he is biding his time. Team Liquid, they would love to be able to push for some space together rather than feeling encircled in sight. Was that just spray? Pure spam through. Verno only had 3-4 HP.
That's kind of devastating. Verno could still have been such a threat from that Boba position. Camo's still watching for it, but the moves are here in main and market respectively. Shannon wants to head up towards Boba, but Camo is stuck on that line. It's going to be a tough fight for him to win. Aspas gives himself away now. Great paranoia for Shannon to get him, and Aspas is dealt with. He would have had to find 3. And Kiko again slaps down.
With the aim still just looking too clean for Kiko. Unfortunate that Verno was just on such low HP after one of those previous engagements. I mean, that unbelievable quick tap on such a tight angle from Serial.
Aspas, he just didn't know what was set up on the site.
I think MIBR made some good positional decisions in that round, taking B main after realizing and seeing that Camo's through top mid. They could be pressuring through market as well. We need space somewhere. Let's fight B main, but Serial going 1-for-1 there is huge.
Verno is able to light the side up with some of that Sova util. That goes differently, but still. Group up here towards this B-side lobby for TL.
And now just on account of the MIBR round wins coming down to primarily Verno clutches, look at their economy. They were on a multi-round win streak and they have nothing to show for it.
Cortezia, though, is able to look into pressure towards that cam position. Obviously, one will be set up behind Liquid. One look and all will be a reveal. And Cortezia just snarled up, though, in an engagement in front of main. And it's going to be the Outlaw that claims him. Into the site we go here. MIBR happy to give it up. Rather have no real choice without Cortezia.
This is Verno with just a classic.
Stinger for Shenom. It's looking ugly there in terms of the arsenal.
I like this from TL. Tap the spike. Let's try and get some util out. See if they swing into us.
Spike planted.
Play it safe. All right. And now we can get the spike down. Now we can position.
This is what Aspas wanted last round. A recon to try and set him up, but nothing was shown from it. It is Nats happy just to play out in the open by main. Doesn't see Verno cross. He's been revealed. Timing was there. Serial dealt with him comfortably. Stinger and Sheriff now to go for it for MIBR. They grouped up, and Nats is going to go looking. Punished for that. Outlaw unrecoverable though, and so is the round as far as MIBR are concerned. Shannon found a second, but eventually TL just overload that market.
Nats is just one of those players that you're always going to see take advantage of the Outlaw on that attack side. Just loves to recognize these situations, excuse me, where it's going to get the most value, take advantage of it. MIBR are going to be fully investing into this round. Both teams not totally out of the woods economically, but this one for TL, they'll have another buy, even if they lose here. This is a round where Nats still has that Viper's Pit.
Camo wastes no time in pushing towards this A side. That overdrive at the ready. Rifle though in hand. Clear of that, Util more than happy to be the blunt object to try and crack A open, but he's just the solo player. He can sell ice to an Inuit. Shannon cleans him out, but now MIBR realize the action really is over on B, but it's a Viper's Pit post-plant already set up. Short-handed as TLR. They've got strong defensive positions.
That was a great trade from Verno. That flash was used early. I'm not sure if RT was able to connect. Okay, just spam through. Normally with a pit down, that's a no access to sight moment, but Verno comes up.
He's not done either. Serial here trying to play from lobby. Serial killer, they call him, but Cortesia able to fight back here for MIBR. They waited on this ability to buy back into the game. It's a costly one for them, but Verno once again delivers the death blow. 3 kills and a Viper's Pit destruction.
That was the definition of must-win for MIBR, and they come up. Verno is just that guy for this team right now. Finds the trade up to Patatek. All right. Going to be satisfied with that little play.
But that is emblematic of the changes made to Sunset. You no longer have that kiosk to hide behind when you're trying to play post-plant there in B main. So Verno can actually spray at those defenders where they're set up. Characteristic look there for Aspas, who again was 2-9 in first kill, first death against Gen G. And as Ender put it out, he said he felt like it was the worst performance of Aspas's career against that Gen G team. He had a moment on Icebox, clutch, but again, hasn't really taken over the game like MIBR need him to.
And that was with him on the Neon against Gen G, so they have switched things up and gone for a very traditional composition, bringing back the Gecko and bringing back the Rays. We've really seen primarily Neon here, you know, since this map was in its latter days before getting removed, and Neon had the buff where it was, you know, she was the most
deadly
overtuned.
accurate on the slide.
It's still real good and primarily being used here. But in that game, there were so many moments where Aspas was getting very disconnected. MIBR were slow to trade, playing very individualistic, but not in a hyper-aggressive way, in a nervous way. And that's just
I'll never forget
have to be completely changed today.
That 4-player swing into Foxy on Haven, where they just get gunned down with poor spacing on that multi-swing. That one lives in my head rent-free.
Standard stuff with this Gecko on defense. Just throw up the early Dizzy, see if there's going to be quick pressure on this A side. If it's forced to be shot with this Cloud, that's going to give a good opportunity for Team Liquid to cross and then double face as the smoke drops in case someone from MIBR was playing close.
Shannon second guesses himself there and opts not to overextend. Kiko likely was watching that line and still is. But into halls is the rest of TL. 3 players getting a lot of map control, and no one's watching from alley here, Wyatt.
This wall from Nats is so cool. They basically just give up Link. They're going to let Serial play on that side late. Send everyone through elbow. We have most of the angles cut off. Matter of fact, let's just contact in.
Oh, wait a minute. Was Aspas trying to get up on the box there?
Probably for the best he didn't, because he was getting spammed through.
Maybe he just thought better of it not to. Into the side they are. Paranoia really hitting hard. Confusing here for Artazine. Camo now will look to step out. Some good old-fashioned fights here, and of course, blood for halls. So TL don't have to overextend. There's no undue risks that need to be taken here. Nats though getting chunked low with this wallbang spam, and Verno again is the one that puts MIBR on the board in this round. All out to the sun they go, and Patatek will end the round. It was about as elegant as MIBR could possibly be with time not on their side.
They're just thrown into such disarray, trying to work around that wall that Nats has up. Yeah, this was a miss, but again, I think for the best. This Kilo immediately started spraying up top when he heard the satchel, so he might have died there.
Maybe a fake, yeah.
But when MIBR actually get into the site, they don't have any smoke for, you know, being thrown down elbow because Shenum was blinded up, died trying to go through the wall, and then everyone's just stuck in awkward positions. It's resulted in MIBR's economy being broken again. They've got a couple Guardians, sure. And honestly, throw one of those over to Verno. I'm gonna be real, like Verno is the one keeping them in this game.
You need to dap my boy up, and you need to give him everything he asks for. Give him the Supermax. Cycling that smoke top mid again, TL have started to take control of that part of the map. Again, it's, yeah, like you said, 2 Guardians. Relay Bolt catching on to Aspas. Camo, though, respects the paint shells. But he's going to duck back into market. He's feeling it.
That Shockdart breaks the tripwire. MIBR have been pressed back in a more passive position, so they can assume that Team Liquid are just walking into market right now, slowly, silently.
That cam from Cortesi is designed to be able to look into B main as well. Rid of Kiko. Spraying through the dark cover here is MIBR trying to slow the game down, but Camero's gotten in onto the side. This is now a problem. All of MIBR playing from Boba. They might try and flood in on off timing. It is Aspas leading the way. Shadow was able to get there with the classic serial under pressure, but takes his. Now a beat, a break in the action. Reloads, Aspas a little bit low. Shockdart takes serial down to 10, and Shadow converts. It's just Nats. No plant yet for TL. TP from Shenum hurt as he gets back into Boba, and he shows a little bit of leg.
Spotted out, drone going to come in from Verno. Nats forced to dodge that for now. The Sova has not been able to recover a decent weapon. He's just got the classic Verno versus Nats again.
Verno shoulder piece here, Nats is ice cold! He's ice cold! He's just got enough time to find the plant. Gets it in. Will be spotted out by Verno. It's time to fight. Verno is 35, very low, but he has to drop on Nats, who's watching the other corner. Ring around the rosy, but Nats now is convinced that this is the line he's looking for. Ice cold, Red Bull clutch straight out the freezer. Beautifully done. Another TL round that hurts MIBR's soul.
Vengeance for Nats after being denied a couple rounds by Verno earlier. It has been just a face-off between one of the greats of all time and one of the future greats in Verno.
He has it down to the second. Every aspect of that 1v2 was calibrated and refined over years of play. Not even close, baby.
Oppa, oppa, oppa. Sorry.
Just another day in the office for Nats. I feel like back in the day used to be a bit more of a stone-cold killer, and now a little bit more whimsy about him.
Loosened up, delivering performance reviews at a rate of knots in the halftime, which of course we're getting awfully close to as MIBR have opted for a timeout.
And just seeing Nats in this era now as well, where he's performing like when we saw him in his prime with Gambit, when he's won an international trophy, but also being the IGL, pretty crazy that he's just been able to elevate his play as a whole to this level.
You can see why people are raving about Cats Nation, because Kiko has not been far behind. Just consistent brilliance over Icebox and now Sunset.
I mean, if Nats keeps this up, hell, if he takes down another international trophy, look, he's already in the conversation for one of the greatest of all time, but man, that would put him up there.
Round 11, just around the corner, and MIBR are bought up for it. They're ready to go. Verno's been put in a lot of these clutch situations, and in 1v1s against Nats has looked better at times. It's the rounds they're chasing Wyatt. They've been sorely looking for these conversions.
Out of this timeout, MIBR mixing things up for the first time, going for an aggro push right down mid. Serial might have spotted someone barely on the cross. It's hard to tell, but it's in. What is that? Just spray through the smoke?
I mean, they challenged the one-way. Team Liquid. I guess, yeah, there's a smoke at Link, so he just played through that.
Yeah, did the
nutty timing.
Did the dark cover not go down in time, Serial? Right. Yell back in the round, but Shenum fast on the trade.
I mean, you never expect this, right? MIBR flipped the map. Many of them playing over towards that tiles position still. Arzino knows fallen all the way back to spawn. He knows the game plan is to give up this part of the map and go for a later crunch. That attack on the walk. Does he realize there are 3 players coming? Paranoia is going to force him off the line anyway. Pain Shell, he wants to challenge ahead of it, but then doesn't see a target, so back to box he goes. Nico hit by the Dizzy, flattened out Arzino. Beautiful, man. Finds a perfect timing to come back into the back four for Arzino. MIBR, man, that timeout really went a long way. That was definitely an audible, that front call.
100%. Great decision to mix something in like that late in this half. All of those kills in the defuse. Arzino now with that Thrash for the final round too. Yeah, they just push around the corner. Well, yeah, a little bit too early. A Dark Cover came later. Of course, you know, they're doubled up, so they're hoping they can get the kill, but they were perfectly lined up. Making that all too easy.
All things considered, it's felt like a slog for MIBR, but it's just a one-round game here heading into the last of the half. And they've come in drips and drabs. That round 3, 4, 5 string for MIBR, crucial. They have some even footing now on this defense side.
We've seen this before. Wait out the Dizzy, throw down the Cloud, and then a couple players pop out at the same time for the double face. This time it's Camo with a Bucky, though. They want to get into elbow. Shenum eyes on it.
Safer line, he's not one and done. Tark, but Camo doesn't care. Slides on him, detained though. Will there be a double swing? Yes, Arzino overwhelmed. So the player advantage stands with TL.
Verno wants to get into the side. It looks like he wants to manifest an opportunity to at least find 1 kill, bring us into a 3v3 for the retake.
From the shadows there from Keiko. Back with the rest of the team now. Smoke to the top box of Ali, but Cortezia will play just on the vestiges of a D-Kicker coming! They've overestimated themselves, Team Liquid!
Spike down
A bit of a misassumption made about the position of the Cypher, and it's punished eventually. They bring Cortezia down. Verno's comfortable in his element, you'd think. Serial's able to pluck him out.
Oh, he just assumed another player wouldn't be coming from elbow.
This is now Aspas' chance to show us where the heck he's been all week.
30
A 1 versus 1, and he's dealt with by Serial. A 7-round half for Liquid. And an anemic performance by the Rays in the clutch.
MIBR were at such an advantage in that round. Things got sloppy for TL entering into the site. 1v1s going either way. A lot of clutches here.
Another close map. Much hinges on the pistol in that second half, so stay tuned for that one. We'll be back after this.
Esports is a $2 billion industry now, but it all started in dingy basements and cramped living rooms.
From how the pros train to how the money flows, this G2 and Mastercard series breaks it all down. 12 episodes, packed with insight and lessons for anyone looking to understand the world of competitive gaming. Ready to learn the game behind the game?
Stay tuned for what's next.
You won't want to miss it.
Undercover, they don't know.
Another competitive half here in this match between MIBR and Liquid for survival here in Toronto. Look at Cyril's Coinbase Econ report. Big in the clutch in that last round of the half. Over the course of the game, his Cypher gameplay has been very, very efficient.
had a good opening too, back during the pistol round, which, by the way, MIBR still yet to win one in this entire tournament, Mitch. Not one. They need this so bad. So bad. They don't know what it feels like to win a pistol round anymore. They need this early momentum desperately after losing that final round, which felt unlosable, to a 1v1 where Serial closes things out.
Closes things out against a world champion who, as far as this series, this tournament is concerned, has not showed up. Aspas, after the first half of Sunset, is 5-9, switching to the more traditional Raze look. Still waiting. We're still waiting to see him light this stage up, and maybe we don't get it at all.
From MIBR, this is looking like a classic B hit, and Legion. Well, okay, well, Cypher's left in the dirt on tiles, actually. That is so tough. Artson now trying to scale into sight. Recon going in the back, dizzy through the wall. Can anyone actually capitalize off of it?
Going for a doubles back though, doesn't like what he sees, and that's because there's 4 players from DL looking straight at them. A veritable firing squad set up by the EMEA team, and Serial goes from strength to strength. Verno gets his and more, that's the question. It's Shenum down at 2. 0 pistols for MIBR as Team Liquid get another one. Widen the lead to 3 and start to tighten the thumb screws on this floundering NA squad.
Cortezia just takes an early peek through tiles, walks right into a double face there. Patatek nets the kill. Opted to go a bit earlier, try to get a kill. You know, could have alternatively chosen to take it very slow.
Show me your hat, show me your hat.
My head.
You're a Cypher hat, Nafi.
Bro can't just ask for a milady tip your hat in the current year? Come on, Serial, give it the program. So too busy just feasting on these pistol frags.
MIBR have had enough of losing pistols. Why not try some success on a round 2 force instead?
Is it America's force for an America's roster? Aspas will lead the way quietly, just communicating that there's nobody here in elbow whatsoever.
Team Liquid happy to have 3 players ready on this A site on account of the Cypher setup towards B, some passive info gain towards B main. Cam watching towards tiles, jiggle peek from Nats in mid. Team Liquid don't really have to budge over on this site.
Patatek has started to reassume control into this A site. Expecting here that some anchoring could be required. He is yapping.
There are pings going down on the map right now from MIBR. Dizzy ready to be thrown over top. Should connect onto Patatek unless it gets broken, but when they come out of elbow, Kiko is on the perfect angle to get an opener.
Crossfire broken up though. This is scary for Patatek. He's hit with the paranoia, but oh, Aspas taken down. Kiko's on the box, and that wasn't smoked for. 1 for 1. Shannon Sheriff claims him, but Camo now is dug in and ready to deliver.
Last
Cortezia,
standing.
first casualty in the last round, now has to go big to clutch it. Just a stinger. Almost enough for Nats, but not quite. Camo exits with 3. And now it's a 4-round game.
I believe that dark cover from Shannon was just thrown down to cover the entire crossover towards spawn side. It's not in the one-way. So Kiko gets that opener. Fair enough, MIBR multi-swing to find that trade. But then they're at such poor ranges with the weapons that they've got. No real effort to fight towards Link, draw attention from the other TL players away.
That mid-rounding for Patatek was sick. He was jabbering at a mile a minute, and look at, they anchored that site after initially playing off of it.
And they just had no reason to leave. They had full passive info defensively across the entire rest of the map. Got a lot of shares for MIBR. Can they do anything here? Oh my god, what? Sure.
Okay. Just a tickle. Turns into a 41 health Shenum. And easily dominated by Patatek. Aspas down again. Verno's low after these early exchanges. And the Viper wall gets toggled yet again. MIBR. See what the Brains Trust have to put together. IGL Artazine still on the scene. But your options are becoming more and more and more limited. Okay.
TL just happy right now to play in the death ball formation, give up A if they need to, go for the retake, face together mid. They're making this easy. They're going to make it look effortless unless Cortezia lives up to the headshot machine name.
Relay bolts for Camo. Into that space. Don't need to do too much here for TL. Just keep MIBR on their toes. No hurry. Oh, jeez, okay.
30 seconds left.
Somebody alert Peter, that was brutal.
Nats just patient on this angle. Artson dealt with, and Cortezia shut down. Not a whole lot of damage for MIBR across these past couple rounds. Team Liquid carrying over so many weapons. Economy bolstered again.
Is that, yeah, this shock dart. Like 100 damage worth there. Perfectly placed. Makes the Bulldog conversion all too easy. Camo. He hears a shot fired off and swings it. Yeah, this is just great fundamentals. I mean, for MIBR, what is this? Season 1 of Attack on Titan? Where's the Castasis for these guys? It's all doldrums all the time on this attack side.
Camo has picked up the Bucky and wants to tuck close over towards elbow.
Please, MIBR.
I mean, there could be a drone to clear this out from Verno or a recon. Dizzy, oh, that ult is great.
Okay. Good fast lane to get off the line. Needs to still find a good application for that Bucky, but comes out of that engagement unscathed.
Artson getting pretty close to the Thrash. Team Liquid, they have 3 players here again.
They're walking this again. Okay. Oh shit, I'm punished to go for the orb. Nat's ready to cover. That is just centimeter perfect.
These trades are just coming too slow from MIBR. The swings are getting watched for. I mean, I'm sorry. How has that timing occurred? Maybe Cortezia can be the hero. MIBR, they want to pivot over towards him, but Verno's facing in mid. Okay. Beautiful tap.
A multi-face coming out of Verno, though. Look at that cool calm collector, but couldn't quite convert. Still evens up the game with Cortezia. A wedge driven in between TL and that B side they hope to defend.
Verno maintaining hero status
30 seconds
for
left.
MIBR. It has been him keeping them in this game.
Kid is unreal.
It has been all about him. His clutches, his taps, open facing multiple players. This has to be converted by the duo of Aspas and Cortezia.
Surely you can expect Aspas to step up and land this plane.
Grenade!
Into market. Swings it, and there it is. Nuts is handled. Kiko's are good for this. He's more than up for it. 12 and 8 over the course of the game. But Cortezia and Aspas are doubled up for it. Little swing, little peek. There it is. MIBR can't one finally. It's costly, but hey, they're in the game. Their head is above water.
You can still hear them screaming from the stage, even being down like this. And barely getting this round win. I mean, this is some awkward stuff happening in elbow. Verno, multiple players. Looked like he was even on for the third. With the aim going pretty awry for Nats.
And at that point, Verno's assuming that TL are probably scrabbling to deal with Cortezia, who's gotten in there to Boba. Good intuition. MIBR having to pay dearly for each one of these rounds.
Kiko was able to avoid that recon, so he's still set up with Camel Paranoia into the relay. Ball up, just Fury as well.
More, they want more.
Beautiful trap play to find an early advantage. Look at Nats even walking down mid into tiles.
And the spike is loose on the wrong side of the one-way. Aspas has to find a way to recover him. Nats on that walk.
And he's just thinking, why is he even here? Patatek timing Shenham with the jiggle peek. Cortezia wondering how he's ended up in this situation. 1 versus 4 against a team who effectively could be anywhere on the map.
It seems like they are at all times. Nat's like a bona fide sleep paralysis demon turning up when you least expect him. Cortezia obviously has a very straightforward objective. Do everything you can to dig your team out of a desperate spot. This cross to the spike location, of course, will be watched by Kiko. Cortezia has a sense for it too. And he doesn't know who's waiting by elbow out in the open. There's no information and surely no hope. But now, Cortezia has allowed TL to get close enough that there's a real risk of him losing this gun.
He does just want to save, but if you look at the cash for TL, they don't really want to hunt right now. They are pretty low.
Cage triggered.
So they'll be content to just win this out and
10 seconds left.
Let Cortezia live to see round 18. The rest of the team won't be able to get too much anyhow with Artzin being pretty low.
Foolish.
All right, good shot.
All right.
Stay alive.
Cortezia lives to see another fire and brimstone dawn here on Sunset, but it's still an ugly situation for this America's #3 seed.
How cool is this on the replay? Initial contact taken from Camel. That goes into a paranoia with the Hunter's Fury. And then when all of that presence is seen from the defense as to MIBR being in A main, Nats just slowly walking down mid, playing behind that Viper wall that cuts off the sight line to tiles. Aspas on the run, wondering, why is this guy here?
Like, does he have
How is he here?
Is he in a solo lobby? What is going on? And yeah, it's a timeout for MIBR. Their last lifeline, potentially, of this entire tournament. They are on the precipice of being ejected with a 0-2 scoreline. The unenviable task of having to tangle with Gen G as their first opponent. Hard to look good in that matchup for anybody, but here against TL, this was supposed to be fertile ground for them to mount their comeback and fight into the playoffs. But it has looked anything but convincing. 6 rounds on Icebox, 6 rounds so far on Sunset, and now at risk of losing it all.
I think that game against Gen G from MIBR really just illustrated the experience difference. You have a whimsical texture, just having so much fun, and this MIBR team completely out of sorts. That set them off on the wrong foot. They haven't been able to win a pistol round. They're still hanging around. Verno still has them in the game. This might be their last chance, though. It's going to be a full buy. Aforementioned Verno with no armor, glass cannon Vandal, just a sheriff for Artzin. Liquid on the precipice of getting their first win here in Toronto with the return of Nats. This could get them to match point. From there, within touching distance of the victory.
Gonna be a rare cameo appearance for Thrash here for Artzin. Has not been able to develop many of those Gecko ultimates this game.
Oh yeah! Monster on
They're gonna use it to try and clear into market first and foremost. Paranoia comes out though by TL to slow up MIBR from filtering in behind it, but they're still gonna assume this space. 2 players in Boba, 1 anchoring the site for TL.
TL trying to get actually back into the site right now very quickly, playing around Nats Viper wall. Man, should be able to get the spike down.
Serial heard the pitter-patter little feet, but had to respect the mosh pit at his own.
Thrash isn't done with you.
Another Thrash usage here, a reprise performance. Trapwire caught. Looks like he gets to the back of the site. Nats is taken out. Kamoki with an outlaw. Can't quite connect enough of that damage. And all the ultimates employed by MIBR. This was their Hail Mary round. And it looks like they're set to convert. Aspas with the fadeaway shot on Panatek, and Camo's outlaw has a fair bit of application here, but it's a stacked deck against the EMEA squad. Camo dealt with. MIBR once again come up for air in a flawless round.
Credit to Coach Fraud. Both timeouts, they win the subsequent round. Just going for that fast, heavy ult play through market into B. I want to mention again, if we haven't spoken enough about Verno, feels like every single Hunter's Fury he's had is converted into a kill. Again, kills Kiko there.
Yeah, on Icebox, I mean, they were stunningly set up by our drones. That was Thrash, you know, made use of by twice. That space was cleared for MIBR to get a good foothold in market, and Nats was caught crossing. Round 19 now, TL still a couple away from a series take. MIBR have got to double down.
Something we have seen from Shannon before when he has the From the Shadows is he will send it into the defender spawn. Oh. He's actually punished for that by Gen G. That, yeah, a little bit unlucky. Don't think
Someone call the fire department.
Recovered. Someone have a ladder. Cortezia at bay on account of this one way that TL are just so happy to fight off the back of it. They are showing no fear.
And they could refresh that as they're about to. Kiko sets up yet another rotation of dark cover on that one-way spot. MIBR, though, might look to just fight it. Camo's playing up close. Yeah, smacks of a one and done, but he's got the speed to get out of the smoke at the very least.
The thing is, the existence of that Bucky is pushing the rest of the team into Liquid, who are stacked up, market and mid.
Nat's got 1 kill in market now, falls back to the B side. TL, how do they get Camo involved with this Bucky? Nat's mid-rounding now. Kiko, what a timing. Aspas again perched up on the kiosk in the 10th spot is taken down, and Nats has an opportunity here to really ruin the day.
30 seconds left.
Just Verno again. How much can you ask this guy to do? Kiko shuts him down, and TL are 1 round away from an important match win here. And a chance to play off still.
The fundamentals from Liquid there are just lovely. Look at the way that they're repositioning for each other around that site. Kiko throws down the dark cover near jump up to pivot towards stairs. He gets that kill initially, and then Nats is in main. Nats gets traded, but Kiko was already repositioned to play off of him to fight the MIBR team who wanted to get through market.
And that's the kind of intuition we've just not seen from MIBR when it's counted. It's fast to play towards A, apparently. Kamen wants to go back to that position. Our drone, though, is going to force him to respect it somewhat more. So maybe a loosened grip on A for TL. Fast lane, Patatek wants to hang around. He knows the death blow is there. The Damocles sword hangs above MIBR as they await their fate. Contizia has to get them out of here. Neural theft to see Kiko and Serial lining up for a double face. And so the hope of Brazil is vanquished. A missing world champion for MIBR. And Nuts' arrival heralds victory for Team Liquid. 1-1 in the tournament.
Getting their best player back, their IGL. Nats had a hell of a performance today across both maps. His Viper is just GOAT status. This TL team are back. Even making a little substitute for map 2, just depending on the comps that they want to run. Both Penny and Serial playing well. Clutches going their way.